Fish, Dalton Castle, Kushida, and Silas Young. Bobby Fish is not on an exclusive Ring of Honor contract, and he just got pinned by Dalton Castle 2 nights ago. Kushida hasn't won many matches, and Silas Young beat Jay Lethal and Kushida in back-to-back weeks. I feel like they're pushing Silas to the main event picture, so I'm going to go with Silas Young here.
Yeah, that would be my pick as well. If I was guessing, I would say Silas will probably pin Bobby Fish, unfortunately.
I hope not.
Just because, I guess, like you said, he's not under contract. Kushida did lose yesterday. I don't think he's going to lose multiple times on the tour, and they seem to not
want to pin Castle.
Yeah, they somewhat protect him, right? So I'll say Silas wins over Bobby Fish.
Oh, I'd be okay with it if we got some Beer City interference.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. Next matchup, again, nothing on the line here except singles match. Frankie Kazarian and Hangman Page. This is a toss-up. I think Page took a pin last night or the night before, and Frankie Kazarian hasn't won in a little bit either. So I'm going to say Frankie Kazarian. Did he face Marty Scurll yet?
I don't know.
I don't think he did. So
I don't think he did.
I'm going to say Frankie Kazarian gets the win here. And when he coming up, he's going to be wrestling Marty Scurll for the title. I'm pretty sure it didn't happen yet. So I'm going to say Frankie Kazarian gets the win here. I think he needs it.
I'll go with Page.
Always got to be difficult.
Well, I just, I don't know like what the plan, if there's a plan. They may not have a plan. Page is really a guy that they should be pushing more. It seems like they kind of start and stop with him. And then they don't really, then he kind of just tails off. So I think in this instance, he should win just to kind of try to give him some momentum, especially if you're losing guys, and we can get into the Adam Cole situation maybe another time, but if you're losing some guys on top of your roster, Page is a guy that they should at least be pushing to like TV title level, I would think. So I think he should be a guy that wins this year.
Okay, next up is a three-way tag team match. LIJ, Los Ingobernables de Japan, Evil and Sonata versus Search and Destroy, who is Chris Sabin and Jonathan Gresham versus War Machine. I don't know who's going to win this match at the top, but I'll tell you, this is probably going to be a pretty entertaining match. War Machine, I feel like they are they, correct me if I'm wrong, they're still the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so they're representing, I guess, both New Japan and Ring of Honor, LIJ. I'm going to say LIJ gets the pin here. Evil and Sonata win, setting up War Machine versus LIJ at some point in Japan for the titles.
That makes sense. It does. I was just going to go with... that does make sense. I don't know.
I'm good at this.
Just to be different, I guess, I'll say War Machine wins and beats... Search and Destroy, which is Sabin and Gresham, seems like they're in the match to take the loss. So while it would make sense, I get to see Evil and Sonata beat them, maybe, and then get a title shot, like you said. I'll just take War Machine to be different.
You know what? Gresham just signed as a full-time with Ring of Honor, so I don't know if what they're gonna do with him, but it would be interesting to see. I'm a big fan of his. I like that. Next up, we got Jay White versus Will Ospreay. Again, nothing on the line here, just a straight up singles match. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fast paced, and I don't think Will Ospreay can take another loss. So I think he's got to win this one.
Yeah, I agree. I would say he should get the win here. I like Jay White and all, but I think Ospreay is the more exciting wrestler to watch right now, and I think he should get the win.
Okay, what's next? What do we got next?
Bully Ray and the Briscoes versus Chaos, which is Beretta, Romero, and Hiroki Goto for the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team titles. I don't know. It seems like Bully Ray and the Briscoes are on a bit of a roll. I can't see Chaos winning these 6-man titles, although I guess I could see them. They could win it and then lose it back in Japan or something at some point. But I think that Bully Ray and the Briscoes will just retain the title here. I don't know if they're moving into a feud with anybody else, like the Rebellion, or maybe Back to the Kingdom eventually when TK O'Ryan has recovered from his injury. But I'm going to say Bully Ray and the Briscoes will retain.
Yeah, looking at this card, I mean, this is kind of where the card starts to. The top 5 matches are really good. It starts to really pick up. Bully Ray and the Briscoes, they've been doing fun stuff. Just looking at the card, I don't know how many more matches New Japan's going to win. I think you might see an upset here. I think Chaos might take the titles from Bully Ray and the Briscoes, only to maybe have a rematch over Dominion coming up. I don't know, but I'm going to say we get an upset, and I say Goto pins Mark Briscoe.
Okay, all right. So we'll go to the tag title match next, which is the Young Bucks versus Naito and Bushi from LIJ in Japan.
This is going to be a fun match, man. This is. I know you're a big Naito guy. We're both huge Young Bucks guys, and I'm really coming around to Bushi. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see Naito work with the Young Bucks. I don't know if I've seen that before. I don't expect the Young Bucks to lose the tag titles here. I think they should win and pretty convincingly, and I think you're going to see Bushi take the pin. But I think it's going to be a fun match, and it's one I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I think it'll be good as well. I agree. It seems like this would be a spot where Bushi would take the loss here. They should not be beating Naito in a match like this. And the Bucks have they just won the titles back like a little over a month ago at WrestleMania weekend from the Hardys. So I think they'll win and they'll keep the titles here. Next is Adam Cole versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Pretty nice matchup here. I think it's the first time. I think they said, right?
First time these two ever met.
First time this match has ever happened. Cole's situation is pretty well documented at this point. His contract, his exclusive contract with Ring of Honor was up at the end of April. He's still working dates. He's on this tour, working a few matches. Actually, is he working other matches on this show? This might be the only show on the tour that he's working.
Yeah, I think it is.
And he's facing Tanahashi in Hammerstein Ballroom tomorrow night.
The Ace.
I think it's hard for me to envision that Cole would win this over one of New Japan's top stars when he's on his way potentially out of Ring of Honor. Now, if he's going to be going to New Japan for a contract, then I could see him potentially getting a win here. But I don't think that's what he's doing. I don't know the answer to that, obviously, but I don't think that's what he's doing. So I'm going to say Tanahashi will win this match relatively convincingly.
I'm with you on that one. I think Tanahashi wins unless they have plans for somebody to, interference kind of deal. Tanahashi is wrestling Naito for the IWGP title at Dominion, so unless you see Naito come out and close it, I don't know. But I'm with you on that. This one, I think, unfortunately, Adam Cole is going to take the loss. However, I don't think it's going to affect the match. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic and one I'm really looking forward to seeing live, especially, a first time match. It's tough to. I mean, these guys are so talented and they put on so many shows. It's tough to make fresh matches. So I think they did a really, really good job in this, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the ROH World Television Title match, which is Marty Scurll versus Matt Sydal. Sydal hadn't been around for a long while. He was, I think, most recently in New Japan and in jail, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if he was in jail. I think he was detained.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, that's not in jail? That's not in
No, he went to feels like detention.
Oh, okay.
Like the drunk tank, but in Japan. So they probably, feed you a lot and take care of you really well.
Okay. And he was also, so he's now back and wrestling some matches in Ring of Honor and in Impact Wrestling as well.
Very strange, yeah. That's very, very odd.
Had a pretty sweet match with Eddie Edwards last week, I think.
Really, really good match.
Really cool.
Should we, side note, can we start talking about TNA again, about Impact? Because it's been pretty good.
Yeah, it's been better, I think. So yeah, I have no objection to that whatsoever.
I'd rather talk about that than Jinder Mahal. So maybe next week we'll make it some time for Impact.
I'm cool with that.
Right,
absolutely.
Cool. Back to.
But back to this, I think Sydal is. I don't know what his situation is. Scurll's been on such a roll that I don't think him losing to Matt Sydal out of nowhere is going to happen. So I will say Marty Scurll wins.
Marty Scurll wins, and Marty Scurll should win. But at some point, Marty Scurll should lose because I think he would be fantastic for the Ring of Honor World TV title. I'm sorry, for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Marty Scurll is somebody you could build a company around. He is over. He's hilarious. Do you watch Being the Elite?
I've seen it a couple of times, but I haven't seen the most recent ones that he's been on.
I'm a mark, right? And I watch his... I spend too much time at the gym doing cardio, so I need stuff to watch on YouTube. Marty Scurll is absolutely hilarious in Being the Elite. I'm putting it over. I hope people go out there and watch it. I was a huge fan of his in-ring work, for a very long time, and I was excited to see him come to Ring of Honor, and I honestly thought Will Ospreay would be more the Marty Scurll role right now. I thought Will Ospreay would be pushed more, but I feel like he's not as exclusive to Ring of Honor as Marty Scurll is. So Skrull wins here. He wins convincingly, but at some point before the end of the year, I'd like to see him in the world title picture.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. And
oof, this is a tough one, buddy.
So there's now a three-way match for the ROH World Championship. Originally, it was Christopher Daniels versus Cody Rhodes. Jay Lethal was added to the match. I believe he won a four-way on a previous show.
He won a four-way on last week's Ring of Honor TV. It was Jay Lethal, Hangman Page, Silas Young, and somebody else who I completely slips my mind. And it was a fantastic match. It was a very fast-paced match. Jay Lethal got the win with the lethal injection, and now here we are.
So it's interesting, this tour that they've been on. It's a 4-night tour, right, for World of Worlds. I believe he has lost
almost every night so far.
He lost in a tag match against War Machine on night 2. That was in Dearborn.
Lost to Kushida on night 1.
And lost to Kushida on night 1. And he recently lost to Silas Young in a previous show. So he's lost a bunch recently.
You know what that means.
If it's WWE booking, that means he's winning the title.
Well, actually, no. If it's WWE booking, we should take him to his hometown and have him get stabbed in front of his parents. Stupid.
So I don't know this one. It's interesting. I never really... When it comes to Ring of Honor, I don't expect quick title changes, but lately they've been doing it. Part of that out of necessity, right? So
yes, I think so too.
Cole had won the title off of Lethal in September. The idea of last year, I think the idea was to transition it over to O'Reilly by December, which is what they did. O'Reilly's contract situation caused some havoc there, even though it was, I think, stated or rumored that the title change back to Cole in Japan was always scheduled. I don't know if I buy that. As Cole won it back in January in New Japan, he then lost it in March to Christopher Daniels. Daniels had won a tournament. It was like the Decade of Excellence tournament, I think. And they built up this whole thing, and Daniels ended up winning the title with the whole Kazarian joined the Bullet Club and then not really joining the Bullet Club. So Daniels has had it for maybe about 2 months. So initially I didn't think that they would just change the title again, because I don't know if there's a reason to do that. I don't know if Cody is even a full-time guy with Ring of Honor. Like, why would you put the title on him and Lethal, etc.? But everything I'm reading and hearing is that the title is going to change, or people are speculating that it's going to change. I don't know that Daniels is a long-term answer as champion as far as draw is concerned. He's lost in like tag matches with Frankie Kazarian on other shows. Like, it just doesn't really add up to me.
I think it was more like honoring him, giving him the title.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, normally I'd have an issue with it, but I feel like Daniels is a guy that really deserved it. He kind of paved the way. He was a pioneer at Ring of Honor. So it's almost like a Zack Ryder thing at WrestleMania, right? Where it's like, would you rather him never get the title or put it on for a little bit just to get that moment and then take it off him to do what you're normally going to do anyway?
Yep. No, that makes sense. I think you're right. So I don't know. So I'm starting to think that he's not going to keep it here. And realistically, if he's in the ring with Cody and Jay Lethal, then he probably shouldn't be the guy that wins. And I don't know what the feud would be for him next. I just figured they would move it on to Skrull at some point, but maybe they're not ready to do that. Maybe that'll be later in the year at Final Battle or something. So I don't know what the answer is here. I'll just go out on a somewhat of a limb and say that Cody wins the title tomorrow night.
I'm agreeing with you. I think he does. I have a weird sneaking suspicion. I don't read. You can attest to this. I don't read anything. I don't read the spoilers and stuff like that. I've got a feeling you might get a new member of the Bullet Club. Got a feeling it might be the villain Marty Scurll. I'm wondering if you have Marty come out, cause Daniels to lose, and then there's your Marty Scurll, Christopher Daniels program. However, I would think, no, he gets to do it as a champion. I'm going Cody wins, Marty Scurll joins the Bullet Club. He's a villain. He's literally the perfect fit, especially if Cole's going to go to NXT. The Bucks and Cole were a thing. They were the super clique. The Bucks and Marty are a thing on being the elite. I mean, it almost writes itself.
Yeah, I think something interesting is gonna happen here. I don't know what it is. Something interesting is definitely gonna happen in this match. Whether it's a turn or a new member of the Bullet Club, like you said, or something like that. I think something's gonna happen here.
You know what's awesome though? It's got us talking, and we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I love that. That's what I love about Ring of Honor. The last time we went to the show, the last time we went to see Ring of Honor in Manhattan, The Hardys came out of nowhere and beat the Bucks for the title. Like, that's the kind of... And Bully Ray came out. Like, how do you top that? That's... You know how you top that? You have Taz come out, and you have Taz put Bully Ray through a table.
There you go.